To do this question, we state the givens. So the question says there's 100 kilometers to point A and 100 kilometers to point B. Distance is the same, that's not so bad. And it says the person drives 11 kilometers per hour faster to point B than to point A. So 11 kilometers per hour faster than this speed. So if we call this speed variable s, 11 kilometers per hour faster would be s plus 11. So that's important to write as a variable, and you would not want to use different variables like x and y. You always try to use the same variable where possible, because in the next step, when we write the time, we're going to write it in terms of our speed s. Remember that distance equals speed times time, and so time would be distance divided by speed, just rearranging this. So dividing the distance by the speed to point A is 100 over s, and the distance divided by speed to B is 100 over s plus 11. Next, the question says the total time takes 1.9 hours. So if the total time, t total, equals time to point A plus the time to point B, we can solve by filling in this equation. We have 1.9 hours equals the time to A plus the time to B. And you might recognize this type of equation. So make a little bit more room here to solve, because what we're going to have to do is multiply each term by s times s plus 11. This is what we do in order to get rid of the fractions or the denominator. So multiplying each term by this. It's kind of messy, but you can still see that s would cancel here and s plus 11 would cancel here, and on the left side it would be still there. So 1.9 times simplifying this, we would get 1.9 s squared plus 11s equals, I'll distribute these both, so we get 100 s plus 1100 plus 100s. Now I'll distribute the 1.9 into the binomial and collect like terms, bring everything to one side. You'll see we get a quadratic. If you're wondering where this came from, just distribute this, collect like terms, and you'll get this. Now we can see this is not factorable, so we'll use the quadratic equation. We have a equals 1.9, b equals negative 179.1, and c equals negative 1100. Okay, so let's do that up here, substituting into the quadratic equation, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Plugging these numbers in, I think most of you guys are okay with at this point. So when we do this, we'll eventually reduce to 179.1 plus or minus 201.1 all over 3.8. Does that mean we have two answers? We have a plus and a minus. When we add the two, we'll have a fairly big number, but when we subtract, we would get a negative number, wouldn't we? Because we're subtracting a larger number. If x, or really s, just solving for our variable s, if s is speed, it doesn't really make sense to have a negative speed here, because we're just talking about one direction. So we'll get rid of that. So we really just used the plus. So evaluating this, we should get 100 and kilometers per hour.